is some of the up and coming vendors and sort of the lower end of the market per se. When you think about, Canva or Figma, how should investors sort of frame that? I mean, like, to me, they seem like market expander, sort of, they're helping you all expand the market. I don't get the sense that these are competitors, in sort of the enterprise or even the sort of group part of your business. So can you just talk about that a little bit? Because obviously, that's been, I think people are trying to draw conclusions that the ARR performance in the quarter has something to do competitively when I don't think the two things are necessarily related.
Yeah, I think there's definitely, when you look overall in the ecosystem in software, there's some things other companies are doing that validate the explosiveness of these markets that we're competing in, right? And if you look at the TAM for creative, it's built up of creative professionals, where we said that's growing to 25 billion by 2024. That shows you how much runway there is just in that top end of the creative professional market. In the communicators bucket, that's growing now to north of 30 billion, and that's due to a number of things, but a lot of knowledge workers and, like I said, people that just aren't expert in creativity but have a story to tell. They're turning to creative tools rather than maybe they might have turned to something like PowerPoint before for office presentations. And there are other companies that are expanding the market and kind of validating the enthusiasm and the spending potential for people that want to create content is very real out there. I think until Creative Cloud Express was launched, we saw it was definitely more of a complementary situation where we would see people start out on simpler tools, and then when they're ready to do more and advance to high fidelity content creation, they'd come over to Adobe. We've seen that since Microsoft Paint. We've seen that with simple content editors in social media platforms and on phones, and some of these startups out there in the world. I think with Creative Cloud Express, Adobe is making more of a strategic decision now to take all of the science that we've built and go down market and really compete, not just be the place they turn to when they're ready to do more, but the place they learn and start as well. And then we're building bridges from the point of entry, making it extremely simple to get started, all the way through much more complex creation, like with video and Premiere and After Effects.
Yeah, that's helpful. And then lastly, just on Frame, it seemed like you guys got off to a really nice start with that. Obviously had some, seems like good cross sell from the Adobe reps in the fourth quarter. How should we think about that opportunity in 22, just in terms of the ability to cross sell? And it seems to me like it's almost like something like stock when you bought it. It had a nice tailwind for a couple of years as you just sort of introduced it to a much broader audience. How maybe should we think about dimensionalizing that opportunity over the next 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, I think stock isn't a bad reference for how we think about it. That was an example of us finding a very close adjacency in creativity, something that could be deeply integrated in our apps. And we saw, we've seen explosive growth from stock since we acquired it several years ago now. I think Fotolia, which was that acquisition, was a little bit larger of a scale than Frame.io was. We mentioned, Frame more than anything, we thought of it as, a product and innovation acquisition and a talent acquisition. They're earlier stage in terms of their market reach, but they've got the best product. And now we have the best product, we believe, in the industry in terms of cloud collaboration for video. Had a tremendous Q4. We think with our reach, if you just look at Adobe's relationships with enterprises, our enterprise sales force, and ability to plug in a product like that with our enterprise selling motion, we're extremely bullish on the opportunity to get that out there. And we think, we've been talking about the theme of cloud, of cloud native applications, and we've been talking about the theme of collaboration a lot over the last couple of years. And Frame was just the perfect acquisition for us to accelerate that strategy. So it's definitely something, like I mentioned from the outset, it's something we're excited about as a growth driver for 2022. I think we're even more excited about it, if you zoom out and think about where that could go in 5 years. We're 5 years plus beyond the Adobe Stock acquisition, and that has certainly become an important part of our ARR footprint today.
Yep. That's great. I'm going to toggle over to the Experience Cloud business. I'm sure folks want to dive back into digital media. Just feel free to raise your hand. I'll bring you in the conversation in the next 5-10 minutes. But the Experience Cloud business, I thought this was a really good year in sort of context for that business, right? I mean, I think there's some M&A in prior years, but between Workfront and I think Anil's sort of focus on integrating the platform together, it seemed like I think it's one of the stronger years you guys have had in Experience Cloud in a few. Kind of how do you think about the year, and sort of expectations for that going into next year? What are obviously tougher comps perhaps with it, with Workfront lapping, but when we're heading into 22, what sort of gets you excited on the Experience Cloud side?
Yeah, I'm very pleased with the year we just finished and the momentum we have in that business. It was a year, coming out of 2020, that was a year where enterprises really slowed down their purchasing. But we knew digital first, enabling digital businesses was going to be critically important. So we said a year ago, when we gave targets for 2021, we told a story of that you would see gradual reacceleration through the year of the subscription revenues. And it's always a good thing when you avoid surprises and the year plays out just like expected. And frankly, I would say once we got to the end of the year, the performance was even better than we expected just in seeing that momentum. I think there's still more work to be done in that business, but everything is moving in the right direction. And I agree with kind of the points you referenced. Workfront, the acquisition we did just over a year ago, performed tremendously in the year, a lot of momentum, and just so synergistic with connecting the workflows of content creation through campaign execution and powering businesses in the way they interface with their customers. So Workfront had a great year, but ultimately it was a year where our strategy of integrating all of our apps through a common data platform that brings data together in milliseconds and makes it actionable. That's really playing out. We shared in Q2 of 2021 that we, quote, blew past the $100 million book of business mark with our new data platform. That had only been in market for not even 2 years at the point. We mentioned it passed $250 million in Q4. So, although it's still, a small part of the overall enterprise business, tremendous momentum there. And we've said we believe in the future that business, that data platform, is going to be critical for businesses and I think a crucial strategic piece of the business we're building. And so, we're excited with the momentum. If you saw the RPO number in Q4, really strong year-over-year RPO growth, that's primarily driven by our enterprise business, digital experience. And so, just really, really great bookings at the end of the year. I think strong momentum. And we feel like we have the best data platform in the world that anyone's built. The only company that at scale can integrate customer profiles together in milliseconds, so you can deliver a personalized experience at the very next click at scale. So, that's one that we're really excited about, and I think we have a lot of momentum exiting 2021.
Yeah. What's the next sort of step forward on that? Is it just, the platform's been integrated now. Is it just, expanding the reach from a sales perspective? I guess if Anil was here, what would he kind of tell us are his, real, focus items for next year in terms of, taking the next step with the Experience Cloud business?
Yeah, with an enterprise software business, part of the growth algorithm certainly is investing in sales reps and getting them up to speed and getting them fully productive. And we've talked about, we are in a growth company. We're going to be hiring and investing for growth. I think on the product side, just investing in deeper integrations, both within our own ecosystem of applications and with our partners, is a really important part of how you grow the business. But the biggest takeaway we really wanted to land from our December analyst event was this theme of how we grow with our customers into what I'll call transformational accounts. And we for years we had just sort of broken down what our top 100 customer cohort looked like, but we gave a bunch more data points this year for the first time. We shared what the average ARR for our top 1,000 customers are. That's grown to 2.3 million in this last year. But then we showed the average ARR for the top 25 accounts, which is more than $20 million. And I would call those the transformational accounts. We also added the total TCV, total contract value, for our top 10 accounts, more than $700 million. And so when you look at the very top adopters who are using our data platform, they're using all of the apps like Campaign, B2B marketing automation, commerce. They're using our content platform, AEM. These are massive investments. They view Adobe as a strategic partner that is the touch point, the connector between them and their customers in real time. And so I think for Anil, it's really the focus is looking at our customer base and working with them as partners to help them achieve their goals, to grow their business by showing them how much more they can achieve by adopting our data platform and more of our applications. And if you just look at within those customer cohorts and imagine how over the years, as we graduate customers up into that transformational category, the growth opportunity is immense. And then consider new logo acquisition beyond that. And,